So let me tell you a story of ranting, betrayal, dun dun dun, betrayal. That sounds spicy already, doesn't it? Yeah. So let me tell, and there's going to be lots of emotions involved in this as well, okay? There's going to be emotions in this. It's going to include a couple of key characters, okay? You know what? We might to get rid of a couple of names, so I don't use people's real names. I think what we're going to do is we're going to use your names. We're going to use people who are in the chat right now. Who wants to be a character in this story? That means your name will be used instead of character in the story. So who wants to have a little bit of fun with this one? A little bit of story time. Who wants to be the name of a character in my story? And I'll see if I can slot you in. Now, I don't want to use these people's names, just in case they're watching. Which would be even better. So, okay, so we have Polypup as the main repair guy. We have Yohei as the owner of the rival repair shop. We have Dankmaster as the first friend I'm going to be introducing into the story. We have Chaos as Repair Guy 2 of the rival repair shop. We have Adam and Joe as Gym Guy 1 and Gym Guy 2 respectively. Okay, so I'm just going to... So I arrived back at the apartment and I look down and I'm filled with sadness. And I'm filled with sadness because my computer is still not underneath my desk. Right here, right down there. It's not down there, guys. I'm going pointing where it is now with my titties. I'm going pointing there with my titties. So my computer's still not there. And then I remember, I need to go and visit Dankmaster. Because Dankmaster actually received my computer from Polypup. So Polly, while I was away, told me that I will have my computer delivered to Dankmaster. Now Dankmaster told me he's going to be at home. I have to be there before 12 o'clock. It's currently about 10 a.m. in the morning, maybe about 10:30 a.m. in the morning. Okay. So I have to be there before 12 o'clock because he's currently working from home. Dankmaster works from home. And I know he's going to be at home. And I told him in advance about this whole situation that Polypup is going to have it delivered by a delivery guy. Don't know his name, so that's why he's not going to be a character in this. So Dankmaster already had my computer waiting for me in his apartment. So, okay, here I go. So I need to now get out of my apartment, go to the underground car park. I had my trash with me because I left it out and I completely forgot about it. So it was like 8 weeks just sitting there in the bin. So it kind of stunk in the apartment, okay? So I put that down because that's where the bin is. It's in the basement where the cars are. Don, by the way, thank you for the welcome back. So I get it. So before I get into my car, I turn it on because I haven't turned on my car in 8 weeks. Now, if anyone here is experienced with cars, if you have it, you should technically, or you should, just for the health of the car and the health of the battery and the starter motor, you should turn on your car on a regular, regularly. Now that could be once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. Just like once a week, just go out, turn it on, keep it on for about 30 seconds or so and turn it off again. Especially if you know you're not going to be using it. Now I haven't used my car in 8 weeks, okay? And I'm on my way to see Dankmaster before 12 o'clock because Dankmaster is going to use his lunch break to go to CrossFit because Dankmaster over the last year or so has decided to get fit and healthy and decided to join CrossFit. So Dankmaster, we appreciate that you're getting healthy and you're getting fit, okay? So good on you, good on you. So, Terrific Terry, am I the only one not hearing audio? Then he's like, never mind, I turned it off. Terrific Terry, oh my god, oh my god. Zeppo, by the way, mwah. Make sure you catch that kiss. Asking for the kiss. Okay, so that's where we are starting. So I turned on the car because I haven't turned it on in 8 weeks, alright? And I just left it there, just purring away. I love listening to my Subaru. So if, in case people don't know what car I have a Subaru WRX, okay, 2-litre turbo. Love it. Now, I haven't used it in such a long time because I was away. So I turned it on. Now, before I got into the car, I noticed it was like layered with dust and dirt and, you know, just gathering. You know, how cars just get dirty out of nowhere. That's what happened to my car. So it was really dirty. And I was like, you know what? Dankmaster can wait just a little bit. I have about an hour and a half. It'll probably take me about 30 minutes, roughly, depending on traffic. Because, you know, the peak time, the early morning traffic would more or less be gone by now. You know, that's usually gone by about 9:30 or so in Dublin. Or thereabouts. So I was like, And I remembered, even before I left on holiday, that I still had to get my car washed. And then I was making the excuse, there's no point because I'm going to go on holiday. I'll do it when I come back. So it was there, staring at me, this dirty, gorgeous, but dirty car. And I was like, this is a good opportunity while I'm making my way to Dankmaster to get my PC, to go and wash my car. So I did. And I enjoyed it. And it looks so good. Because a part of me felt a little bit dirty, felt a little bit guilty, like traveling through the city centre with this car that's just, like, if you drive, guys, you know what it's like. If your car is just filthy. Now, maybe you don't give a fuck, okay? Maybe you're someone who doesn't give a shit. It's like, nah, it's fine. But having so much dirt on such a classic car nowadays, and my car is beautiful, like I like to think my car is beautiful, gorgeous blue with the golden alloys, which the Subaru WRX is pretty famous for. And just having that as filthy as it was, I was like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. So I knew I'd feel better if I got it washed. So I went, got it washed, all good, okay? Zeppo, you're going to be the guy who's washing my car, okay? Because you have a really, really, really small role. You have a very small role. So Zeppo, you're going to be the guy who's washing my car. So pretty much Zeppo is there with 2 of his other co-workers. They're wiping down my car. And, you know, it's all nice and clean now. It's all spick and span. Zeppo says it's like €10 or something for the car wash. I pretty much give him a note because I normally use my cards to pay for things, but I actually had notes on me because of the airport and all that. So I was like, I handed him a 50, and he just went, and Zeppo marched to his office, came back, gave me my change, told me have a nice day, and I was like, thank you very much, and I drove off. So Zeppo, good job on washing my car. I appreciate the service. So, okay, so we're now travelling through Dublin. It's about 11 a.m. at this stage. I knew it was going to take about 30 minutes to get to Dankmaster, who had my computer. So I made my way there, and I got there in actually about 30 minutes. It was in the beginning there was a bit of traffic, but then I had like this big, like, lengthy section along the river that there was just like, if you ever been to Dublin, where the Guinness Brewery is, there's a nice long section before you get to the train station, and if you're very lucky, and especially when it's not peak traffic, you can literally just zoom down that section, and that cuts off so much time if there's not traffic. And I got so lucky that after getting caught in like all these little traffic lights along the way, I got to that section and like just looking on my Google Maps just to make sure that I'm on the correct path and all that, just seeing the difference that just made to the estimated time of arrival. It cut off time, you know. So I got to Dankmaster. I parked outside Dankmaster's apartment, knocked on the door. He didn't answer. Dankmaster, why aren't you listening to my knock? You knew I was coming soon. So I decided to get out my phone, ring Dankmaster, and he came up and greeted me. We had a big hug, and we were like, ah, you know, because we haven't seen each other in so long. So, and we're very good friends. So me and Dankmaster, we're very good friends. That's why I asked him to take care of my computer. So Dankmaster, yay. So, Dankmaster and me have a quick chat, just a quick, like, while I'm going down, picking up the computer. Like, I have the tower now in my hands, okay? My tower has a lot in it, okay? So it's pretty heavy. But, you know, it's not so heavy for me, but, you know, for I could only imagine, like, and since Dankmaster has recently started, well, not recently, but in the last year has started with CrossFit, he found himself being able to pick up that a lot easier than he would have in the past. Because I remember Dankmaster. I remember Dankmaster when he wasn't as strong and as agile. Dankmaster has definitely gained because he went to CrossFit. Now, say what you want about CrossFit. Okay, if you're a gym bro or if you're a CrossFit bro. Either way, we're getting fit, we're getting healthy. So, I said goodbye to Dankmaster because he was going to go to CrossFit very soon. He was going to go on his lunch break. So this was about 11:30. Let's say it's about 11:30 now. 11:30 a.m. Okay. So remember, I just flew from Florida 18 hours, including time in airport, and I'm already driving around Dublin city centre. Okay. I'm just my adrenaline is just kicked in. I'm not even tired. I'm just go, go, go. I have like a shopping list of stuff to do. I already went to get my groceries. All right, already that early in the morning, early because, you know, considering the situation. I already went to get my groceries. I already took out the trash. I've already washed my car, and I already visited Dankmaster to get my PC. So now I have my PC. He helped me take the accessories of the PC because I had a few accessories, keyboard and the monitor, and helped me put that into my car. And then I said, okay, let's meet up in when I get back from Cork, which is where I'm originally from, because I'm going there this weekend to visit my family and stuff because I haven't seen them since Christmas. So. And Dankmaster was, yeah, when you get back, we're going to meet up, we'll have chats, we'll have wine, we'll catch up. Boom. So me and Dankmaster, next week, we're going to have our wine. Okay? Woohoo. I'll drink that. We'll have a big catch up and we'll have all the gossip. So, I get into the car, Dankmaster has now left. The first disaster begins. You ready for this? So, Dankmaster has literally just went into his apartment. All right, I got out my Google Maps again just to make sure, you know, that I have, because I'm still getting familiar with all the routes in Dublin, especially to get to where I am, which is just beyond the city centre. So I literally have to go through all the different streets just to get there, and I'm obviously picking out what's going to be the fastest. And Google generally will pick the fastest route. Okay, anyone who's familiar with it, you'll definitely know that. I get into my car, sit down into the driver's seat. The PC is nice and snug in the back. Okay, my computer's nice and snug in the back with the monitor, the keyboard, and the accessories stuff, the other accessories. I put the key into the ignition. Turned the car. It didn't work. The car did. Alright? Dead. My car was dead. Now remember at the start I told you that after, you know, every week or so, if you have a car, especially if you're not using it, to start it, just to keep the battery healthy. Now I started my car, but remember, I didn't use it in about 8+ weeks at this stage. So I used it, I was stop and starting the whole way. But for whatever reason, when I went to a complete start, took the key completely out and did not use it for a couple of minutes, that's when the battery gave me trouble. So now I'm sat there in my car, it's not starting. And I'm going, for fuck's sake, you know, I'm just there being like, ugh, because like, I want to get my computer home. I've literally just flown, like, you know, I've been traveling for over 18 hours previously, alright? I have stuff to do, I want to get on with my day, and now I find myself being like, trying to start it again. I open up the bonnet, don't really seem to see anything that's particularly out of place, anything that's wrong. So it's definitely something with the battery. I look around just to see, is there anybody in the vicinity that might have jumper cables or anyone that I could start their car off, because I know how to do it, of course. Then I knocked on the closest door to me. No one answered. And then I found myself looking up my insurance to find their road starting, you know, their road assistance number. So I was there, I dialed it, and while I was dialing, while the number was, you know, whenever you ring up a company, press option 1 for this, press option 2 for that, and then you're just going to be like, we're expecting a high volume of calls right now. You're always it's always going to be a high volume of calls, no matter what the time is. Even if you got in there at a minute past that they opened, there's already a high volume of calls. It's always the same, okay? You're going to be waiting on hold for quite a while. And I was just there being like, fuck my life, fuck my life. And I was literally like that. Like if I was this close to just hitting my head off the steering wheel, being like, oh, come on. So what I did is I just stood outside the car again, and I was just like, you know, doing the sighing, and you're just there on the phone. You know, you're going to be there for a while, and then I goes, I'm just going to try start the car again. You never know. You never know. I'm going to try start that car again. So, put the key into ignition once again, turn the key, and my car sputtered to life. It sputtered to life. So I jumped for joy, turned off that phone, because now I'm getting on with my day again. We are back, we are happy. The car has started, okay? We have the computer in the back. Dankmaster, the funny thing is that I thought Dankmaster was going to be leaving his apartment any moment, and he would see me still outside his apartment. You know, he doesn't drive, so he wouldn't have been able to help me. So I thought he would have saw me still outside, and he'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" You know, Pensword, welcome, my good man, and yes, I am back at home at least. We're in the middle of a story, so I thought Dankmaster would have came outside of his apartment and saw me still there and been like, what the hell? But yeah, so pretty much got the car back. I'm just going to cut out the rest of that part. My car got home, underground. It was a bit of a hassle, you know, keeping the tower with the monitor and the keyboard and the little bag of stuff that I had with it. I had to get that up a couple of floors, so it took a little bit of, you know, took a bit of rummaging around, but we got there. So all good. We're now back in the apartment, computer in hand, and I put it down underneath my desk. Right there. Literally just right there, guys. This is where my tower would sit. Just literally where my fingers are pointing right now. Okay? Now, if you just... And I'm just going to take a quick break. I'm just going to take a quick break from the story. So that's part one. That's part one of this big story. Okay? So part one was about me getting from Florida, from Miami airport to New York to Dublin, getting through the morning, driving to get my computer back off Dankmaster, and now I'm back home again. Back to my apartment. The story. So I'm all excited. Now, for people who don't know, my computer broke about a week and a half. About a week and a half before I left Ireland to go to Florida. Okay? Unfortunately. Which means I missed, you know, the streams before I flew, and that was really pissed me off. I missed a lot of YouTube content that I wanted to get done. Elden Ring just came out. I wanted to get an Elden Ring video. I wanted to get lots of shit done. I wanted to stream Elden Ring for you guys. all during this time. I had it all planned out. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 streams. Back to back, 3 streams. And my computer dies on me before I could. I know. So a week and a half, so I immediately called up Polypup. And I asked Polypup, would he be able to help me? Polypup was like, yeah, we can help you. I'll have a courier come to your house tomorrow and he's going to get the computer from you. Okay? So Polypup has now arranged me to have this courier coming to collect the PC. And he's going to take care of the rest. So back and forth over the week and a half, Polypup was in contact with me. Okay, he's been in contact with me, telling me what could be potentially the issue with the computer. He first said that he can confirm that my monitor was no longer turning on. My keyboard was also not turning on. There seems to be file corruptions of some sort, but he's not quite sure what or where yet at this point. He rings me up the following day. Polypup lets me know that my motherboard seems to be the issue. So what he's going to do, he's going to contact his supplier that he uses to get another motherboard. I'm already like, shit, that's going to cost me a couple of extra $100 just for a replacement motherboard, which of course it's going to. So I'm like, okay, something that I hoped was just, so basically a blue screen of death, okay, happened, a blue screen. We've all been there if we have desktops, blue screens just happen. They could be for any fucking reason, they just happen. So I had a blue screen, I hoped it would be a nice simple fix, something I'd get back in a couple of days, and boom. But no. It was a much bigger issue than that. So he turns around, thinks it's the motherboard, orders in a new motherboard, says he'll provide me with another update. Polypup rings me back the following day after he said the following day. He said, good news, the motherboard is going to be here after the weekend. So I was like, okay, great. Okay, Monday. I was like, yeah, shit, I'm going to miss all these streams because this was Friday. Okay, he already had it ordered. So Friday he rang me up to let me know it was on its way. It's going to be here the next working day, which is Monday. So I just played Elden Ring for pretty much the entire weekend. Loving it, addicted to fucking, I just absolutely loved it. I'll tell you a little bit more about Elden Ring later and stuff. And especially when I'm back, I want to stream some of it. And he rings me up Monday. He just kind of keeps in contact. He's been good. Polypup has been good now. He's contacting me quite regularly, letting me know all the steps. So he put in the new motherboard. He connected everything together again because everything. In case I'm just going to take a pause there and just explain. Now, in case people don't know desktops, okay, desktop computers. When you open it up, pretty much everything slots into the motherboard. All the cables, all the your SSD drives, all that stuff. It all relies on the motherboard. Your processor's slotted into it, your graphics card is slotted into it. Pretty much everything is reliant on the motherboard. So the motherboard is like the brain of the computer. If the brain dies, the rest of it doesn't work. Pretty much, okay? So so pretty much to replace the motherboard, you have to take all the cables out, all the stuff off the motherboard, put in the motherboard, then reattach every single motherfucking thing into it again. It's like a car mechanic when he wants to get at the engine or a specific part of the car, he has to take everything else around it out of the way to get at it. That's why it can take hours just to do a small little thing on some cars, because most of it is getting the shit out of it just so he can get at it. And you're paying by the hour in most cases, and most of it is just taking stuff out of your car, or in this case, out of your computer or whatsoever. Now, computers obviously are a lot easier to get stuff out of than cars, so yeah. So anyway, he gets to work on that. I'm like, okay, I'm being optimistic. Hopefully it's just a motherboard and he'll be done and he'll have it back to me with the courier service on Tuesday. I was very hopeful. I was traveling on Friday I believe it was Friday. Yeah, Friday. That I was traveling to Florida. So I was like, okay, at least I'll have it for a couple of days. I can catch up with a few things. Awesome, cool. I can do it one or two more final streams before I go. Brilliant. Okay, that was me being very hopeful. That was me being very hopeful. Okay, so Pollypup, you bastard. Do you regret volunteering your name now? You're a bastard. Pollypup rings me up to inform me that it's not just the motherboard. He doesn't think it's just the motherboard that's the issue. Pollypup is now saying he thinks the processor is now an issue. Now my processor is an AMD Ryzen 9 3900X. Okay? A fucking damn good, like, state-of-the-art processor. One of the newest on the market. That's why I couldn't believe when he said it's one of the issues, that this brand new piece of equipment that I got during the pandemic, about like a year and a half previous to this. Now also the motherboard is a year and a half old. That computer in its entirety is pretty much 1.5 years old. I think I had like one thing that I didn't buy. I think it was the power supply. I think that was the only thing out of my previous computer that I did not put into this new build. Okay, now I built that computer with my brother. Okay, so I actually know how to put computers together. It's a pain in the fucking ass. Let's just put it that way. When it's not your hobby and stuff, it's really difficult. At least I think it's difficult. Anyway, so I was like there being like, okay, so my 1.5 year motherboard is gone. Now he's saying to me my state-of-the-art Ryzen 9 is also gone. A Ryzen 9 is about €700. Okay? I was not happy to hear that news because that's going to cost me a replacement if I wanted the Ryzen 9, the same thing. It was going to cost me. It's probably devalued a little bit since then because, when a new version comes out of something, usually the old version, is a little bit cheaper. Like, let's say an iPhone 13 comes out, the iPhone 12 is going to be a bit cheaper. PlayStation 5 comes out, PlayStation 4 is going to be probably a bit cheaper, etc. The previous version generally drops down a bit in price over time. So the Ryzen 9 is probably a bit cheaper. If anyone is on Google and wants to see what a Ryzen 9 roughly is right now in euro, feel free. But at the time it cost me about €700. So I was there being like, oh dear God, this is just becoming worse and worse. I literally was going to be there, guys, thinking that I'm going to have to start a GoFundMe. I did not want to touch my savings. I did not want to touch anything like that and my current account or anything. I did not want to spend over the top because I thought it would be something so small. I hoped it was something so small. It was a blue screen of death. But now you're telling me that Pollypup is telling me that the motherboard is an issue. The processor is now an issue as well. And fuck knows whatever else. And this is all on top of labor cost. The more time someone's spending on your computer. So initially, before he thought the processor was the issue, I want to back up just a second. He was giving me an invoice already because he thought it was all fixed. Because he turned it on and it was all okay. So he was like, okay, it's going to be €420. €420. That's going to be the new motherboard and labor costs, essentially. Okay, all the evaluation, the testing, yada 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 yada. So €420. So I was like, okay, it's a little bit of a sting, but okay, it was a lot more than I hoped that it was going to be. But I was like, okay, as long as it's new, good, and I'm going to be able to do my shit, okay, no problem. I'll stomach that, no problem. So he sets the courier to deliver it to me on Tuesday, but then Pollypup rings me back about an hour or so after he sets the courier and puts the courier in to then tell me it's turned off, it's no longer working, there seems to be an issue, it keeps resetting, yada yada, all the stuff is going wrong basically. So it's not just the motherboard anymore, according to Pollypup. That's when he mentions the processor. So now I'm there being like, now I'm going to have to pay 600 plus euro on top of this invoice of 420 euro already. And that's before he adds on more cost for labor because it's going to take more time. So I know now my computer is going to cost at least 1,000 euro to repair. So I'm starting to get really, really annoyed at that stage. Now, I was annoyed, but that was in my head kind of thing. When I was like, oh really? You know, I was disappointed when I was saying it to him. Joe, is your brother a twin brother? No, he's not a twin brother. So I couldn't do anything about it. I told him, and I had to reiterate, being like, I'm going out of the country on Friday. And he said it's he said he's going to try his best to get it before Friday and get it back to me, but he says it's going to be unlikely. And he goes, look, don't worry. If you have to go out of the country, okay, I can put it into storage here free of cost. There you go. And it will be ready for when you get back. I'll do all the stuff before you get back. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. You know, needless to say, it was not finished before then. He didn't even have the processor by that time or whatever. So yeah. So while I was in the USA, Polypup text me to be like, can you give me a phone call at your earliest convenience? It was a bit harder to contact Polypup because the 5 hours time difference and just stuff like that in general. So when I did get eventually in contact with Polypup, he told me, he goes, okay, so I got a couple, he listed me out a couple of different processors. I was like, well, I would like to have my Ryzen 9, but I was like, at the same time, I was like, I really don't want to take like, you know, have that extra cost. So I was like, look, could you find me one of a cheaper option that's still powerful, you know, will still be able to do all the stuff that I do. Editing and streaming is hugely dependent on your processor, just as an FYI. So if anyone here does video editing or any kind of photography type work using things like Photoshop or anything like that, or you know, any studio stuff, you'll be able to vouch for that. It's a huge processing issue. So I needed to make sure that the processor would be really damn good. So he said, don't worry, we'll sort that out and I'll let you know soon. So he got back to me about a week or so later. He told me that he has a Ryzen 3. It's going to cost like 200 or so euro. So I was like, okay, 200 is not 600 or 700 or whatever it was. Okay, that's good. So now the cost is going to be at least 650 or so euro in total, depending on labor costs. So I was like, okay, at least it's not 1,000. At least it's not 1,000. Okay. I was trying to think of a positive light. I was trying to think of, you know, something good. So Polypup and me left it at that. Since then, a couple of weeks have passed. I'm not going to talk about the USA side of things because I kind of was talking to all you guys about USA while I was there. So I'm just sticking with the computer side. So about 2 or so weeks before I had to fly back to Ireland, I was trying my best to contact Polypup. Polypup decided to become really, really fucking shitty at customer service. It was almost impossible to contact Polypup. I'd get responses days later. Or I want a phone call, I don't get the phone call. That kind of stuff. Like really evasive. Really evasive. And eventually I got in contact with Polypup about 1 week or so before I had to depart. And he told me that, look, he's doing the final touches. He's doing the final touches now to the computer. Okay. Obviously, since I was away, he just did not look at the computer whatsoever. Okay. So he could have had that fixed weeks ago instead of now rushing, being like, oh shit, I have to get this done. But he informs me, Polypup informs me while on that phone call that he's going to be going to the USA with his family. Okay. Polypup has a family, guys. And Polypup's going to be going to the USA with his family. Coincidence, I'm also in the USA, you know. That's when kind of I was like, I wonder. So I told it to one of my friends. I told it to Joe, actually. Joe, hello Joe. This is where you enter the story, Jim Guy 2. Jim Guy 2 is a very close friend of mine. So Joe enters the picture. And Joe was like, yeah, that sounds a bit off. Like maybe he's not even going. He's just doing that just to kind of, just get rid of your computer. Just put your, get it out of his sight kind of thing. It's giving him too many issues, that kind of way. So it sounds a little bit off. Yeah, exactly, Pen Sword. It sounds a little bit off. All right. So I talked to Joe, and this is what Joe's saying, and he's like, look, do you have anybody that that you can contact to take in the computer when it gets back? And I was like, could you do it? So I said to Joe, could you do it? And he's like, I don't know how work's going to be, but I'll let you know. So a couple of hours later, because see, Joe works as a trainer as well. By the way, Joe, you're a trainer now as well. So not only is Joe a very close friend of mine, he's also a trainer. So like he doesn't know if he's going to be at his apartment or not. So he said he'll contact me later and let me know his roster, his hours that he's working and stuff like that, so we could try to work it out. But he said in between that time, he got a phone call from his friend. I'm not going to say the country, but he got a phone call from another friend, and he decided he's going to go and visit that friend for a couple of days in that country. Okay? So I was like, no problem at all. It's completely fine. I'll try find someone else. Awesome. So that's when I contacted Dankmaster. So Dankmaster, you're being mentioned again, like you are already. So I contacted Dankmaster, and Dankmaster is like, yep, I'm going to be at home. I knew Dankmaster worked from home, so there was going to be a very good chance, unless he decided to go on holiday or something, that he would have been there to accept the courier. So once I got a response back from Dankmaster, a favourable response, I then could order the courier. I could then confirm to Polypup that someone is going to be there to take it. So I gave Polypup the information of my friend, the address, his phone number, just in case, for the courier. Awesome. So Polypup, as we've established, is putting the final touches to my computer. He's going on holiday conveniently the day before I arrive home with his family, which could be 100% truth. Could be 100% truth. Just very convenient. Very convenient. So, as I said, Joe was telling me that he thinks that Polypup, is just trying to pawn off, it's just trying to get rid of the computer. He's having too much issues with it or whatever. It's just not working out. He's just going to, this is just a theory. This is just a theory now. We don't know if it's real or not. We don't know. Okay? So put it together, nice and easy. I also had to put in a few extra things that I have around the house, around my apartment and studio. Just so it connects, because I have extra cables for other things and yada yada. So I had to put a few extra things together. I turned on the computer. What do you think happened when I turned on the computer? It turned on! So the computer turned on. So that's great. I clicked the button to start the computer, and it turned on. Awesome. That's already a good start, alright. I look at the monitor. The monitor's not on. Now, if you can recall, the monitor was one of the reasons that that was as a result of the blue screen, it wasn't turning on. So I was like, oh, look, maybe because I didn't click the button. Click the button, is it on? That's like one of the first things that, tech support tells you. Did you try turning it on? And it's like, yes. So clicked it on, and it's like, oh wait, that orange light. I was trying to remember, because it's been like over 9 weeks since I've seen my computer, and I'm just forgetting the most basic of stuff. So I click on the screen, and it's like, nope, it's on, but there's still no picture. So the computer's on, just like it was before. That didn't seem to be an issue. But the monitor is still not turning on. The monitor that I've waited 9 fucking weeks to be active. Because there was something going wrong. The motherboard not signaling it to it or whatever. Then I checked the keyboard. The keyboard is still not lighting up. Okay? So Polypup, I'm getting very pissed off at you at the moment. Because I'm all nice and happy. And now my monitor and my keyboard, the two things I asked to be repaired, are not quite what I've expected when you said it's fixed. Alright? So Polypup, as the repair guy in this story, it's your job to make sure this is fixed, right? So I was like, okay, all right, maybe I done something wrong. Maybe I didn't connect the cables. Right. You know, I might have just put the wrong thing. You never know. Just, just deduct, what could go wrong. So I had to do a bit of troubleshooting myself. All right. Just, process of elimination. Could this be wrong? Could this be wrong? Could this be wrong? Okay. So, okay. Now, before I get onto this piece, I'm going to have a quick look at the chat. Because a couple of people commented there. Ali says, hello, look huge. Ali, thank you very much for that. Pensword, I hope someone clipped that about a huge, thick, girty graphic card. Of course, Chaos is going to be right all over that. Lightheart, that could have blown your PC. That's fucking big. No to not have the graphics card not slotted correctly. Exactly, Lightheart. Which is going to bring me on to the next piece of the conversation. Kev Gamesa says, hi, I was inspired by you to get back into gym and I'm really starting to see some nice big titties and arms. This is what we like to see, Kev. I like to hear that. Awesome. And I'm honoured, to say the least, that I've given you that inspiration. So thanks very much, man. John Blake, I'm back, baby. And Chaos is like, I'd love being in charge of Jay. Well, you're not in charge of me. You're being in charge of making sure my computer is repaired, okay? And giving me the breakdown. So, okay, so here we are. Next part of the story, guys. Next part of the story. Welcome back. So, Yohei tells me, bring it over. We're open till 7. But he also informs me of something that I completely forgot. It's going to be a bank holiday in Ireland. May Day. May bank holiday. May Day. Now, May Day, I think he'd have a bank holiday in the UK as well for that. I'm actually probably sure lots of places have bank holidays for the May bank holiday weekend. So I completely forgot that May... Because this is literally right before the end of May, the end of April, and he informs me that it's going to be a long weekend. So, if we don't get it fixed today, Chaos Dawn is not going to be in the store until Tuesday. Okay, so it's a long weekend. All right. He said, Yohei said, although the computer shop is going to be open tomorrow, Chaos, who's in charge of fixing your computer, is not going to be back till Tuesday. So that's where he's going. I hope we'll be able to, figure out the issue today and get it back to you. So I was like, okay, look, this is just how it's going to be. Nothing really I can do about that. Let's just go. So I immediately... Now remember, only about an hour or so previous to this, hour and a half previous to this, I just brought my computer back into my apartment for the first time. Now I find myself, once again, picking it up, bringing it down to the car, to the underground car park, and now having to drive. Luckily, the repair shop is quite close here. It's like 15 minutes drive. And then driving over there. So... lots of back and forth. Now the good news is they did not need any accessories except for the keyboard, because I informed him that the keyboard wasn't working. The monitors and stuff, they'll test on their side of things. I said the monitor is working because I inserted it myself. But yeah, he knows the breakdown of everything. So I got to the repair shop. I greet Yohei in person. Good to see his face. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time to help me with this. And he introduces me to Chaos. And Chaos is this big nerdy guy, like very nerdy. If you think of your typical nerd, like he had kind of like long hair in a ponytail. He had like glasses on, bit of a greasy guy. His teeth weren't the nicest, unfortunately, but he seems like a very pleasant guy. Just not so much on the physical attributes, unfortunately. He could use a little bit of a makeover and stuff like that, and maybe get his teeth checked. But he seems very knowledgeable. He seems very pleasant, very approachable, really nice guy. I'm happy to know that this individual is going to be in charge of taking care of my computer. Yohei, on the other hand, is a much older gentleman, probably in his 50s, very big, burly type guy, like probably played rugby or something at some stage. He noticed that I was fit. He asked me how many years was I working out and stuff like that, so he kind of noticed that off the bat, which is, I guess, good that people realize that I go to the gym. But yeah, he definitely had a very big stature to him, and he was a tall gentleman as well. So yeah, so now we're introduced, as I said, to Chaos, who is going to be taking over my computer, and then we have Yohei, which is the owner of this repair shop, the rival repair shop, because Polypup's repair shop is not doing very good for me. So keep that in mind, because Polypup is going to enter the conversation very quickly again. And then Adam and Joe is going to have their time as well. Very brief time. You guys only get small parts, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's okay. So let's continue. We have more to go. This is where more dramatics are taking place, especially the big dramatic piece. This is the piece that you have to keep an eye for. So I've been giving you clues. I've been telling you to take note of certain things and stuff, and I said specific things at times. So let's see who's been paying attention, and maybe you'll catch some things before the rest do. So, okay. So I've given them my business. It's they asked for a little deposit up front. So Yohei asked me for a deposit because, you know, this is pretty much covers the cost of just looking at it, analyzing the issue. So I leave the place. Yohei decides to then give me a phone call about 2 hours later, and he just kind of gives me a rundown of what they're noticing at the moment with the computer. And he'll give me a phone call back soon. So what he pretty much told me was that there's definitely issues with the motherboard. The pins, there was one particular slot with the pins, and all the pins were bent out of place. If you can recall, I said there was a cable near the graphics card that was just not even connected for some reason. The reason why it wasn't connecting was probably because Polypup, or maybe someone in Polypup's repair shop, decided to, try to fit it in at any cost, and, well, bent all the fucking pins on the motherboard, right? So they told me that, and they said that they're going to get to work to fix the pins so the cable can slot into the slot. So awesome. They said that's not going to be a problem. So the motherboard is definitely an issue that needs to be looked at. My processor, my Ryzen 9 processor, seems to be perfectly functional. So when Polypup told me that he thinks the processor is an issue, my brand new Ryzen 9 processor, okay, and Polypup decided to put in a Ryzen 3 into it just to save me some repair cost, and so I have something to use. But we've now find out that my Ryzen 9 was never the issue. It was perfectly functional the whole time. Polypup was just deciding just to, process of elimination. Oh, it could be this, we'll make this new. Oh, this, we'll just put a new this. So thanks to them, I can keep my Ryzen 9, which is in my computer at the moment, and which saves me about 600 plus euro, which is awesome. And now I can give the Ryzen 3, which is over here in a box, right there. If you can see the box, that's the Ryzen 3, people. Just so you know, I'm telling the truth about everything I do. A Ryzen 3. Yes, he downgraded. And just so you guys know what a processor looks like, this is a typical processor right here. This small little, chip, pretty much. Well, it's not a small chip. It's a big chip for a chip, but the product itself it's pretty small. So that's what a processor looks like. Now, what it slots into, the cooler and all that, that's a much bigger thing. But this is essentially at the heart of your computer. So you have the motherboard, which is like the brain. This is like your heart. If this is fucked, you're fucked. If the motherboard's fucked, you're fucked. So you're fucked. So there we go. So yes, he downgraded. So he downgraded he downgraded the Ryzen just to save me some money, and I was okay with that. But luckily, guys, they found out that the Ryzen 9 was completely fine, and I can send the Ryzen 3 back to Polypup because, well, he obviously misdiagnosed or whatever the fuck. They did tell me that on this SSD, which I'm holding here in my hand. Now look at this SSD. It looks pretty cool. It's a very flashy SSD. Now this transforms into lots of different rainbow colors when it's turned on. Okay, it's a very cool looking SSD. Now they told me that this SSD actually is corrupted. The files that are on this SSD at the moment, although they should be able to retrieve a lot of them, they informed me that once this PCI, M2 PCI, starts to kind of deteriorate, they generally don't get better. So if you ever get an SSD or a hard drive and it's just causing issues, most likely, although you might fix those issues, they probably won't return. It's probably just a matter of time until they'll kind of break again in the future. So I have this out of the box. Okay. So pretty much they said they can try and do a data recovery on that drive just there, if I want, and they can order me a new SSD, one that's better than this, same 1 terabyte but better. And I was like, fine, more cost, but look, blah blah blah. Chaos Dawn is telling me, there's like Chaos is on the phone to me at this stage, okay? So Chaos is telling me about the SSD drive because this is what they figured out. So I definitely know that the motherboard needs to be replaced at some point. It seems to be just about functioning now after they fixed the pins and stuff like that. But the SSD is definitely corrupted. So that can't be used. They'll try and do data recovery on that after the bank holiday weekend. And they'll put in a new SSD, but the one that's in there, the other drive that's in there, it's completely wiped. So hence why they said that they can do data recovery on this one. Now, the good news and bad news is they said that the computer is ready. You can come in at about 7 p.m. this evening. It's now about almost 6 p.m. at this stage. Chaos is about to finish work for the evening. He's just going to do the last little pieces of putting the things back together. And he said, look, you're going to have to bring it in again, but at least you'll have it for the weekend and a little bit time after so you can catch up with stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, look, that's not ideal. I have to send it back again, but at least I'll have it for a while. So at least I won't be another weekend without my computer, all right? So I was like, I went back, I saw your hay, I said hello to him. Chaos is now gone for the evening, so just Yohei, once again, who's the owner of the rival repair shop, Team Rocket. That's what we're calling the company, Team Rocket, okay? So he is the owner of Team Rocket, the repair shop, and pretty much he just told me, look, the keyboard still doesn't work. And what Chaos found out was that there's a chip in the keyboard that is just fucked, basically. It's just, it's not happening. So I'm like, okay. I was like, look, I can just go and look for, a cheaper, sorry, no, this is about 6:30 at this stage, when I'm being told this on the phone. So I'm telling you the part before the phone, before I went there, that he's telling me on the phone. So keyboard chip is not working, so I'm going to need a new keyboard. So I immediately go onto Amazon, see if there's any keyboard that's going to be there for this weekend, if possible, because I wanted something so I can use my computer now. There wasn't. So then I looked up locally, which made more sense because, you know, delivery and stuff, bank holiday weekend, May bank holiday. So I checked up locally, and the best one I found, I wanted something, you know, not over the top expensive, but decent. I didn't want to go too cheap because it would just break again. So I went to GameStop, and they had a really lovely keyboard in that's kind of similar to my previous one, bigger, better, you know, specs and stuff. So I was like, okay, GameStop is going to close in 25 minutes. I can get to GameStop, go over to Yohei at Team Rocket's repair shop, and then get my computer because they're closing at 8 p.m. So I was like, let's do it. All right. I marched over to that GameStop, got there in about 15 minutes, about 10 minutes before they closed. Back I go. Back to my car. I put the keyboard into the apartment, get my car keys, down into the car, back over to Team Rocket repair shop. Yohei tells me, you know, just kind of sums up everything again. He goes, look, here's your computer. I pay him the 145 euro for the service, for repairing it, fixing the motherboard, and just kind of getting the starting stuff done and blah, blah, blah. And he said, get back to him in case they want to data recovery on this. So I was like, thank you very much. And when you order in the new motherboard, just let me know and I'll bring back in this for repair. Good. It's not over though. It is far from over. The dramatic part hasn't even started yet, people. The most dramatic part hasn't even started yet. This is when our new characters are going to be introduced into the story as well. Okay, so we're getting ready for the next part, the big part, where all of this entire story is coming together, culminating in part 6. Oh no, it's part 5, in part 5. So it's all going to culminate in part 5 and part 6, the last 2 parts of my story, okay? I have it all broken up, guys. I have it all broken up. But it is not finished. The dramatics and the ranting is coming in. The really juicy information is coming in next. You can hear it in my voice. I'm excited. I'm excited to rant. I'm excited at this one. I got my... by the way, KTO, Big Muscle Flexing, welcome to you. Thank you for pressing the follow button, my good man. I got the computer back into my apartment. The keyboard, the brand new keyboard I just got because the old one was broken. I threw that shit into the bin. It's gone. Now this is Friday evening, okay? Friday evening, about 8 p.m. I'm back in my apartment, okay? So I put it together. It turns on. I am so happy. The screen is on. The keyboard is working. I start connecting all the cables. I'm happy. Everything is now working on the computer. Thanks to Yohei and Team Rocket, the repair shop. And also big thank you to Chaos as well for being the guy in charge of fixing. Everything is going so smooth. I'm thinking nothing can possibly go wrong. I know I have to bring back in the computer when because the motherboard there is an issue with it. But at least I'll have it for a few days at least so I can get to work. And I have so much content. I have so much content clipped and saved that I have to put into YouTube videos. I go to sleep. It's about 4 a.m. in the morning. The reason why I'm going to bed at 4 a.m. is not because I want to. It's because I have jet lag. I'm used to sleeping 5 hours difference due to the time zone because that's what I got accustomed to. At the start it was 6 hours, then with the daylight savings time change, then it became 5 hours. And now that I'm back in Ireland, I used to be sleeping about 1 a.m. or even 2 a.m. USA time. That means that would have been about 6 or 7 a.m. Irish time, which is now when my body's finally starting to get tired. So the first night I slept at about, I think it was about 5:30 in the morning. Just couldn't sleep. I just was happy. I was like, yay! yay. Adrenaline, overtired, I have no idea. I just was not going to sleep. The next day, as I just said there, about 4 a.m. Yeah, that just, so I woke up on Sunday. Sorry, no, it was Saturday. I woke up on Saturday. And Saturday morning, I was like, good morning, world. Even though it was more like it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, good morning, world. My computer's there, going to make my breakfast, all feeling good. I'm fine, I'm fresh. I'm like, oh yeah, going to do exactly what I wanted. I'm going to get a couple of days of content, getting in my stuff, finally catching up before I go back to Cork for the long weekend. Well, this is going to be a long weekend for myself, to see family, friends, before I come back here, and then I'm here full time for the next couple of months. So I was like feeling good. I have my stuff ready, the list that I want to get done. I didn't even look at the computer. I was like, hello computer, how are you? Went into my kitchen right there. Okay. Made my breakfast, feeling good, put down my stuff on my table right here in front of me. Get my finger down onto the turn on button. Nothing. Not a sound. Not a light. Nothing in the case. Just dead. I was like, did I turn it off? Did I turn off the switch last night? I might have. I couldn't remember. So I was like, no. Plugs in. Everything's plugged in. Didn't change a single thing. It's not like someone came into my apartment and just did something overnight. Or did they? So yeah, nothing. Computer dead. Dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Completely dead. I was like, oh my god, I'm here. My breakfast is spoiled now. I'm not feeling good anymore. I'm like, nah, why me? So, taking off the cables once again, unscrewing the case, open the case, look in the box, what we've done so many times already. What is going on? What is the stuff? What is going wrong? Why is it not turning on? I change around a few things. I take out more cables, so there's just the basics. So if you're ever having troubleshooting with a computer, put in as few cables as possible, because you never know, it could be sucking up extra energy. So the minimum stuff you pretty much want is your monitor, your mouse, and your keyboard. Something like that. 3 cables. And then of course the power cable to turn on the goddamn computer in the first place into your power supply. More or less that kind of stuff. That's what you want. Turn it on. Still not. Drain it. As they say, keep your finger on the power button, detach all the cables, keep it for a few seconds, kind of drain it out for the BIOS and stuff to reset. Did that, put in the cables, still nothing. All dead, all that. Rang up Yohei again in Team Rocket rival repair shop. Rival to Polypup, which is the original repair shop. So rang them up. Told him what the issue is, and he goes, look, okay, it's probably the motherboard. If there's no lights, not even on the motherboard, it's probably the motherboard. Now, we already knew that the motherboard, there was something wrong with it, but he was hoping that I'd get a couple of days, before they ordered a new one, yada yada yada, and I could use it. That was the hope. Didn't work. So he goes, look, it could be something as simple as your power cable. Maybe your power cable, has finally died or something like that. So I was like, it's possible, I guess. I wanted my computer. I was willing to do what I could to get the computer running, right? So into the car, ate the breakfast, into the car, straight back to Team Rocket's repair shop. Saw Yohei, told him pretty much the story. He gave me a very special power cable. It's one that they use for testing. He said, please make sure you return this on Tuesday. I was like, no problem at all. Remember, it's a bank holiday weekend. They'll be closed later on, early today, and they're not going to be open until Tuesday, just bank holiday hours. Came back in, hoped that it would work, did not work, done a few things just to see if it would work, nothing would work. Computer is dead. Accepted it was dead, had to wait till Tuesday. It just had to accept it. Work on the laptop, get the Slay the Spire video all done on the laptop, which it is finished, by the way. It's going to be on YouTube tomorrow. Because it has to be uploaded to YouTube next. I literally just finished it before I went live. Hence I was slightly delayed. So, new video on YouTube tomorrow, guys. So, where are we? So now we know what had happened. And now I decided also to get back to the gym. So I rang up Joe. Joe said he's going to meet me at the gym and we're going to have some lunch after. I was just like, you know what? It's Saturday. I want to get back to the gym. I haven't properly been back to the gym yet. I went there briefly on Friday night just for like a quick hour. Now today I'm going to get back. I felt a bit more energy today. Now today being Saturday, guys, at the time. So I rang up Joe. Joe said he's going to be at the gym. Going to meet Joe there. We're going to have a gym session together. And on my way to the gym, just as I went into the gym, Adam was there. Adam, welcome finally to the story. You only have a small part, as I said, but at least you finally got into the story. So went into the gym. Adam was there. Had a quick catch up with Adam because I haven't seen Adam in such a very, very long time. Mellow Boars, welcome to the chat, my good man. I hope you're keeping well. So Adam is now there. Have a quick catch up with Adam. Joe is next to me as well. Three gym bros are now talking in the thing. All lovely fit muscle boys. We're all there just having a quick catch up in the middle of the gym floor, and then we all depart to do our own exercises. Adam gives me a ring to kind of catch up with me a little bit later when I actually finish the gym, and that's pretty much Adam's part. You were the quick gym bro in the story, my good man, but we finally got there with it. Welcome to all the people coming into chat, much appreciated. Big thank you for all these followers. It's absolutely spamming me with the follows, but big thank you, much appreciated. Big muscle flexing thank yous and welcomes. Okay. So I'm in contact with Adam over the phone at the moment, and I'm pretty much telling him like the situation, what's going on, because I couldn't tell him everything while we went to lunch together because I had to catch up with him about the USA stuff, and he caught up with me about his trip and all the stuff that's been happening in his life. So we've been just catching up, and I just had to tell him about the whole computer situation because he already was aware of it already. So I was catching up with him, and I was telling him, look, I'm going to have to confront Polypup. Now Polypup is still on holidays from what I know. Now Polypup was the original repairer of my computer, okay? So that was the original repairer. So that's what we're finding. So what we see is I'm ready. I'm literally now walking around my apartment after just talking to Adam, waiting until tomorrow to give my computer back to Chaos and Yohei to repair it and, take it off me and have a chat with them. And pretty much from what I can see is I'm just like listing down everything that went wrong since Polypup took my computer to repair it in the first place. I'm speaking out loud. I'm having arguments in my head. Did you ever do that? Like, when you want to just argue about something and you just talk about it, like it's almost as if you're making your own situation out of nothing. I'm just trying to get the words together so I know what I'm going to say to Polypup. Now, I'm pissed off. I'm frustrated. He had my computer for over 9 weeks and it still was not fixed. I got back, it still was not fixed. I had to send it to another repair place. I'm wondering in my head, is he going to charge me for all this shit even though it did not fix? He did nothing to fix it, essentially. I knew I was going to be sending back the Ryzen 3 processor that he gave me as a downgrade, just so because he thought that was going to be one of the issues solved. We found out, of course, that my original processor, there was nothing wrong with it, okay? There was nothing wrong with my original processor. The Ryzen 9 was completely fine. That rhymes, by the way. So what happened was I was listing down every single thing that I thought was that I had to say, and I was just waiting. I was waiting for a phone call, an email, a text message, just some sort of communication eventually from Polypop. I knew it wasn't going to happen right now because he's on holiday. So it's going to be the next couple of days at least. So I was just there, just in my head ranting. Don't worry, it's going to get very good. Tuesday rolls around. I wake up nice and early. It's about 9 a.m. at this time. Now remember, I'm still suffering from jet lag. I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule. Okay? This is Tuesday. Literally, guys, yesterday. Well, technically it's Thursday my time now, but yesterday. Because today is now Thursday. So this is yesterday. This is how close we are now. So this is the end of the story. This is where it all fires up big time. Okay, this is where really that big climatic finish. So it will take about a week or so for the motherboard to get back to Team Rocket repair shop, and then they'll send to me. They'll put in a new hard drive with that, all my stuff on it, and package it back to me. Everything so far seems to be going good on their side. Just to kind of give the end of this side of the story before we get back to Polypop and the rant. Okay? So from Chaos side and Yohei, Team Rocket repair shop, the computer is looking good. Finally. I don't have it yet, which is why I'm not streaming from my computer now, which is why there's not music in the background, why there's not extra stuff going on in the background right now, why I'm not able to put all this extra fancy stuff on the screen like I normally would have. Because I'm on my laptop and it's very limited in what it can do, unfortunately. So, that's why I'm looking down a lot, because I'm looking at the laptop screen for all the chats and stuff. So, what I'm seeing, guys... Okay, what I'm seeing is, to add it all up, I now know I have a faulty motherboard, which is getting replaced. I know the cost. I know it's going to be even better and faster than the current one. Now, that motherboard was installed by Polypop in the other repair shop, the original repairer. He was the one who told me that my original motherboard was faulty. So that's my original motherboard, Polypop's motherboard, and now there's going to be a new motherboard, which is what I'm getting back when the computer comes back to me. That's 3 motherboards. That's how much luck I've been having with motherboards, okay? Yeah, I know. So that's 3 motherboards. So I know I'm going to be paying something for the motherboard. I know I don't have to pay anything for a processor, which is about €600. Originally, that's what I thought. The Ryzen 3, the downgrade, it was about €200. So I'm adding everything up. I bought a new keyboard. I have to get a new solid state drive, an SSD. I have to get a new one. It's not going to be the exact same one as this. It's going to be better, faster, etc. Newer model. So I more or less know the final cost of the repair from Team Rocket's side. So as of now, their side of the story is finished. Okay? That is going to be a continuation because the computer is still not here. It's in their repair shop until the motherboard comes sometime towards the end of next week from Germany. Deutschland. If there's any Germans here, I hope you speed up my motherboard recovery, please. Get it here as quick as possible. Be efficient. Come on, get it. Come here. So here we go, okay? This is the final part of this really long story. This is where the ranting comes in. This is where the drama kicks up. And I have to get out my phone because I have it all by text. Okay? Where are we? Okay. So just to prove, okay, this is real, alright? Just to prove this is real. So, I'm gonna hide the number here. Not that it really helps you, okay? But this is Polypop sending me, "Hi, how's the PC running?" Okay? Hi, how's the PC running? I was expecting a phone call or some sort of communication because he didn't invoice me yet. I knew he repaired my computer, even if he didn't fix a fucking thing and made it worse. He made it worse. I have to state that. He made it a lot worse because now it's dead. Hi, how is the PC running? As you can see, this is my response. So, hi, how's the PC running? This is my response. Okay? See that? See my response? That's my response. Telling him all the issues that I have faced. And there's even more. It actually is even longer. I forgot to read more section. This is the big long text I sent Polypup. Okay? Really long. But I had to make sure I got everything in. All the shit that was happening. So let me summarize that text, okay? Let me bullet point it. I gave him the PC 9 weeks ago. 9 weeks ago, okay? I gave him the PC 9 weeks ago. The monitor wasn't working. The keyboard wasn't working as a result of a blue screen of death, okay? Something happened to the hardware or software, corruption or something. Just something happened to make it die. Sent it to him. He first told me it was the motherboard. He knew there was some sort of corruption somewhere, but he wasn't quite sure where. And he also wanted to replace my processor. So I told him that when I got it back, the video card was not even in its proper slot. Now that video card is about €900. It's a beefy, really beefy and really good graphics, well, really, really fucking good graphics card, okay? Like, it's the most expensive thing in the goddamn box. 900 or so euro on the graphics card alone. So it wasn't properly put into the repair slot, okay? Into the video graphics slot. I had to do that myself, okay? Because he obviously was too inept to do it. The guys told me in the repair shop also, before I even told him I went to another repair shop, I said the cable management was terrible. It was causing airflow issues because they were going around the fans, they were hitting off the fans, they were blocking other ports, things like that, okay? I also told them there were some cables not even in the correct slots on the motherboard. Some were taken out completely or whatever. I told them there was bent pins in one of the slots as well. Now, this is before I told him I went to another repair shop for this, okay? So I'm telling him just the issues. I told him the keyboard still didn't work because there was a chip gone, which is not his fault. But he didn't even know why. Didn't even tell me. This SSD drive was just taken out of the PC without me even knowing why it was taken out of the PC. It was in a bag, which it was delivered back as. Never told me the reason why. There was another SSD installed without my knowledge. Just randomly put in a new SSD without even telling the customer in the first place. So he's trying to sell me 3 things. A new motherboard, a new SSD, and a new processor. Because that's what he thinks was wrong. He said that it was working when it left the shop. He sent a photo of it working, apparently. I told him the monitor did not work when I got it because the graphics card was not slotted in. I had to do it myself. I told him about the cable management, the airflow, the cables not properly in, yada, yada, yada. I told him all that stuff. I then told him my computer is now currently in another repair shop fixing the shit that he done to my PC. I told him, you made my PC worse. I said, you should be happy I'm not sending you the bill of what they're going to send me. I said, you completely wasted my time All right. Your customer service is fucking awful. I said you should be also happy that I'm not giving you a 1 star on Google for your shitness. I said your craftsmanship is shoddy. All right. I fucking laid into this asshole. All right. In a somewhat respectful manner. Okay. Because I had this all like, up like that. So I was laying into him. Because I was really not happy. I was frustrated. I'm losing work. I'm losing money because of this asshole. And he didn't even send me a final bill. I told him, I'm going to give you back your faulty motherboard when the new people, the repair place that I gave it to now, the new guys, when they give me back the motherboard, because they ordered me a new one, when they give me back the computer, I'm going to give you back your motherboard. I'm going to give you back your downgrade Ryzen 3 processor, which you just tried to sell me because you didn't have a fucking clue what you were doing. And then I was like, then he just told me, oh yeah, make sure you send back the SSD as well. I was like, what SSD? I was like, there's a drive in there that's mine. The SSD that they randomly installed without even fucking telling the customer, okay? So I was like, be thankful I'm not sending you the bill. I repeated that part, and I'm not giving you a 1-star review. Because, I could really lay into him even further there. He said, did I pay the invoice that he originally sent me? This was before the processor and all this stuff got involved. I said to him, I did not pay the invoice because the processor, because you said the processor was now going to be an issue. So you're going to fix that before anything else. I said, I'm not giving you a penny. I'm going to give you back the 3 items that you gave me, so you can give them back to your supplier, so you can get the money back from the supplier and you can deal with it with them. The only thing you're losing out on is your time. I'm not paying you a single cent because you did not fix what I asked you to fix. And you wasted my time and your customer service for 9 fucking weeks. To this guy, okay? So this is the back and forth that we've been having. He apologized for the inconvenience. He eventually settled that he believes me, because I told him I will send you the receipt. I will also ask them to document everything that was wrong with the computer if you don't believe me. And he said, no, we trust you. We apologize for the inconvenience. Just please send back the items when you get them, and that will be all. So I no longer have to pay the first bill because, once again, why should I? He didn't fix anything and he just tried to charge me hundreds and hundreds extra. I would have had to pay over €1,000 with this guy if I just trusted him in the first place. This, I'm getting a half price. And I'm getting even a better motherboard. I'm getting a better SSD out of it as well. Yeah, it's like half the price. And yes, it's costing me money and I'm not happy about that. But at least it's going to be solved. And it's going to be about a week or so before it's solved because they have to get the part in. Because I think it's a really good story. It's very long, but it's literally everything that's been happening. Too Curious Millennial, welcome to the chat as well. Jerkami, big muscle flexing, thank you, my good man. The more you know. Jerkami, the more you know. Big thank you for that. I hope your study is going good, Jerkami. Big thank you for the subscription there as well. But yes, as you said, damn, just to fix a computer, what an adventure. Absolutely.